Governor Soludo administration restated commitment to stamp out quackery in health sector. Citizens warned to approach communication with discernment to avoid risk. And on the foreign scene, Australian teen jailed for 14 years over UK woman's murder. Before the news and detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Welcome to the news this morning. My name is Chidima Oranwa. And now the news in full. To ensure increased productivity in service, the 18 newly appointed permanent secretaries in Anambra State Civil Service are currently undergoing a 2-day capacity building workshop organized for them by the state government. The workshop has as theme a strategic leadership thriving through challenges and opportunities in governance. Correspondent Joseph Iwacha has details.
Event open, the head of service, Anambra State, Barrister Theodora Igwegbe, who thanked Governor Chukwuma Soludo for appointing permanent secretaries from the pool of over 30,000 civil servants in the state, tasked the permanent secretaries on teamwork with their commissioners, colleagues, and even subordinates, as well as doing things that are in line with the vision and the mission of the Soludo administration. Speaking on performance management while delivering lecture on the leaders' roadmap, Barrister Igwegbe called for ways of providing incentives to people to achieve maximum productivity while punishing bad behaviors, adding that monitoring and evaluation are also necessary for achieving improvement in service delivery, motivating the participants with the story of how her 6 years experience as deputy clerk of the Anambra State House of Assembly brought her to limelight in the state. Barrister Igwegbe reminded the state workforce that they are paid for their time and skills while in service, even as she encouraged the permanent secretaries to be diligent, committed, and provide leadership in their service areas.
Thanking him, I won't fail to urge each and every one of you that has been given this opportunity to serve Anambra State to do so wholeheartedly, diligently, without dragging your feet, because it is a rare opportunity to become a permanent secretary. I'm sure you all know that. Yeah. We should be grateful to Mr. Governor. I won't stop thanking him. To tell you the truth, some of my colleagues in other states have been calling me to ask me what I did to make the governor of Anambra State appoint 18 permanent secretaries in one fell swoop.
Participants at the event, including the Permanent Secretary, Office of the Secretary to the State Government, SSG, Dr. Nwabu Fonwankwo, and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Mrs. Chinwe Achubu, said being implementing partners of the governor's policies and programs, the workshop has enabled them key into the vision of the Soludo administration, promising to be more diligent, disciplined, sincere at work for increased productivity.
It's also an opportunity for us to know what the governor thinks about the state, its development, and so on and so forth. I'll be more focused. Okay. I will do this with speed and efficiency and effectiveness. That is the key.
We're also supposed to take it down to our various ministries, and the main takeaway is the mandate of Mr. Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, is just using us as ants to implement all those mandates.
Topics chosen for the days were administrative skills and procedures for effective service delivery, strategic governance and financial oversight, holistic approach to project, contract and financial management, among others. In Oka, Joseph Ebocha reporting for ABS News.
The Metropolitan Archbishop of Onitsha Ecclesiastical Province, Most Reverend Valerian Okeke, has urged teachers to engage in constant mentorship and inspiration of the young people under their care to enable them achieve their potential. Correspondent Festus Obierika filed on this report.
Archbishop Okeke, who spoke on the theme, Links to Inspire Others, during the Holy Mass to mark the centenary celebration of our adult seminary on Onitsha, which drew old boys of the seminary, stating that centenary is a period of renewal, fresh beginning, and spiritual empowerment, charged the large gatherings to always inspire to teach others, as early missionaries did years back for a better tomorrow. Archbishop Okeke, who is also the proprietor of the seminary, narrated the history of the seminary, disclosed that the seminary has witnessed challenges, especially during the Civil War, revealing that after the war, Bishop Ote of blessed memory and others assisted greatly in rebuilding the seminary. Appreciated Bishop Shinuhand, who started the seminary in 1924, and others who played a significant role in development of the seminary. The Catholic prelate also extolled Barrister Anyebunan family for donating the land where the seminary is situated now, commended the current director, Very Reverend Father Pascal Okonkwo, for ongoing transformation at the seminary, disclosing that recent students of seminary won a royal in Marishu and debate trophies.
Jubilee, a time of beginning again, beginning afresh. Oge mmadụ ji emechi ya anya onwe ife ndị ọ na-emetasịrị ọfụma omegini onye Chineke mgbaalụ.
Appreciating Archbishop Okeke, the rector of the seminary, Very Reverend Father Pascal Okonkwo, who eulogized Archbishop Okeke for his usual magnanimity toward the seminary, testified that his spiritual and physical support is taking the seminary to an enviable height, and thanked the old boys and parents for their generosity.
N'ụzọ pụrụ iche anyị na-anabata nnukwu nna anyị Archbishop bụ onye bụkwazi onye nwe ụlọ akwụkwọ a, Most Reverend Dr. Valerian Maduka Okeke, maka nnukwu mmemme anyị ji ebido olili na seminary anyị elugo 100 years ka anyị Chineke aka.
In their separate interviews with ABS, the former national presidents of Old West Association, Professor Fidelis Okafor, and the president in 1993 said, Reverend Father Evaristus Mpangose congratulated the seminary at 100 and advised the current students to remain focused, inspired to become good ambassadors of the seminary, even as they urged them to follow footsteps of their predecessors.
100 years is a significant number. Very few people in this large world reach 100 years. So you can imagine the joy that we are alive to celebrate.
Over 50 candidates were administered with the sacrament of confirmation by Archbishop Okeke, inauguration of foundation scheme of the seminary, special intention by seminary choir, kick-off of the centenary football match by the rector, among other things featured during the event. For
The Anambra State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afam Obidike, says the state government is doing everything humanly possible to stamp out quackery and unprofessionalism in the state's health care sector. Dr. Obidike, who stated this while speaking to the press in Awka, noted that the Governor Chukwuma Soludo's led administration has no room for quackery and unprofessionalism in the state's health sector, saying that the ministry has put all mechanisms in place to stem the tide. Dr. Obidike pointed out that the current administration in the state has invested heavily in the health sector to ensure that Anambra have access to affordable and accessible healthcare services, and warned that any medical facility in the state that is not operating in line with ethics of the profession will be sanctioned. He maintained that the proposed nursing and midwifery school that will be sited around the Kulobe axis in Agwata local government area will help to boost the human resources for health in the state. The commissioner warned all the healthcare workers and all government facilities in the state to always display a high sense of professionalism in discharging their duties at all times. Dr. Obidike called on the President General and traditional rulers of the various communities in the state to report any medical facility in their areas that are not upholding the ethics of the medical profession or engage in an unwholesome attitude for immediate action to be taken by his ministry. The Special Advisor to Governor Chukwuma Soludo on Youth Empowerment Program, Dr. Nelson Omenora, has recommended legal reforms to protect individuals from online media-induced prejudice and provision of ethical guidelines for responsible online media reporting. This, he said, will help mitigate the negative implications of online media trials. Dr. Omenora gave the recommendation while delivering a paper titled "Guilty as Charged: implications of online media trials on justice delivery to the human person in Nigeria at the 17th Annual Memorial Lecture in honor of Pope St. John Paul II, held at Pope John Paul II Major Seminary, Obono. He noted that the proliferation of online media platforms has given rise to a new form of public scrutiny, while individuals are tried and convicted in court of public opinion before being formally charged or convicted in the law court, and highlighted the need for an approach that balances freedom of expression with the right to a fair trial and the protection of human dignity in the digital age. Dr. Amenua encouraged the government to strengthen and reinforce the judiciary with regards to justice delivery in Nigeria, and urged philosophers whom he regarded as leaders of thought to engage and be part of the rebuilding process by raising a communique to support the idea. The 17th Annual Memorial Lecture has its theme as Law, Society, and the Human Person. Ekefine Global Concepts has held its maiden edition of Arts Exhibition. The Arts Exhibition, held in Obono, Oka South Council area of the state, titled The Suspension of Disbelief, attracted students within Oka Metropolis, parents and lovers of art who were on hand to appreciate art as a conveyor of histories. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike filed on this report.
Mostly portrayed the different stages of communalism before the advent of colonization and westernization, and the intent is to hand over to the younger generation their heritage and give them a feeling of connection to their past, guiding the students through the appreciation of the acts and reflections they offer. The founder of Ekefine Global Concepts, Ms. Ekeoma Ahumereze, said that as a visual artist, she specializes in using pencils, pastries, and oil to tell stories. Ms. Ahumereze explained that she grew up in African tradition setting, expressing nature at its finest, and as such saw the need to recapture those memories through her acts for the pleasure and participation of the contemporary generation. She further explained that the title of her art exhibition, The Suspension of Disbelief, is a reminder that she never studied acts in school but became an artist through tutorage of Mr. Chinedu Chukura, and revealed that in no distant time she will unveil an exhibition office in Oka as part of efforts to promote and preserve the history of the people.
The title is The Suspension of Disbelief. Yes, it's a maiden solo art exhibition, maiden being my very first solo art exhibition. But I titled it The Suspension of Disbelief because of the storyline around my life. Because I didn't study art, and met professionals who have helped me toe the path properly to be what I am today as an artist.
Mrs. Okwefuna Chinyere Eziuzo, and a principal of one of the schools that came for the exhibition, Mr. Obijofo Obiekezie, appreciated Ekefine Global Concepts for creating an opportunity for their students to experience acts which they believe will motivate those with unique talents in acts to pursue their passion, as well as give them insights to their culture and tradition.
It's worth the time. It's really worth the time. There were different artworks exhibiting nature, exhibiting Africa, the real African setting. And it's encouraging to the younger ones who may want to get into arts and make it a profession.
Some of the students, Chimamanda Nwibe and Chibueze Chinatuanya, appreciated the artists for the exposure and opportunities, saying that it has helped to widen their knowledge about culture and the art world.
The message I'm telling other people is that they should come so that a good artist to come and teach them how to create things so that they can be a good person for sure, a good artist for sure.
In Oka, Chibuzo Obidike, ABS News.
Citizens have been reminded to be wary of the potential risks of communication if not approached with discernment and responsibilities, as it could lead to distrust among brethren. The Episcopal Chairman of Social Communications, Catholic Bishops of Conference of Nigeria, Bishop David Ajang of Lafayette Diocese, gave the warning at the Mass at the St. John's Catholic Church, Mararaba, to mark the end of the 2024 World Communication Day. Correspondent Ewi Ajide reports.
Marks the 58th edition of the World Communications Day, introduced by Pope Paul VI in 1967 following the recommendations of the Second Vatican Council. It is universally celebrated in the Catholic Church every 7th Sunday of Easter as a week-long event highlighting the significance of media on humanity and the world, with the aim of emphasizing the crucial role of the media as gifts for human progress and development in the church and society. In a homily signaling the end of the 3rd edition of the Come Week celebration in Nigeria, Bishop David of the Lafayette Diocese urged all to embrace technological advancement to propagate God's love and kingdom. The bishop, who dwelt on the theme of this year's World Communication Day celebration, artificial intelligence and the wisdom of the heart for a fully human communication, said there is urgent need to understand the emergence of technology, artificial intelligence, and its impact on evangelization, information, and communication.
Recognizing the power of media as things that can foster human progress and development, but also forms of their potential risk if not approached with discernment and responsibility.
The National Director of Social Communications, Reverend Father Michael Omo, on his part, harped on the need for continuous media education to boost knowledge about artificial intelligence for improved communication. In Abuja, Princess Ewi Ajide reporting.
A teenager who stabbed a British mother to death after breaking into her home in Australia has been jailed for 14 years. Emma Lovell, 41, was killed when confronting two intruders in Brisbane on Boxing Day in 2022. She had emigrated from Sokolov in 2011 with her daughters and her husband Lee, who was also injured in the attack. The offender, who cannot legally be named as he was 17 at the time, pleaded guilty to her murder earlier this year. According to the report, he also admitted to 3 other burglary and assault charges. In the Brisbane Supreme Court, Justice Tom Sullivan said the man, now aged 19, had committed a particularly heinous crime against the Lovells, who he described as a loving family building a life for themselves in a new country. Justice Sullivan noted that the offender had himself witnessed violence from a young age and began abusing drugs and alcohol at the age of 14 after the death of his grandmother. The grand finale of Solution Games Tournament has been held at Umuchu Mini Stadium, Agwata, as the event organized by Agwata Chapter of National Youth Council of Nigeria, NYCN, was held to be a veritable tool in engaging the youth and discovering talents. Correspondent Kene Chukwuchukwudi brings details.
Which was brought to a close with a football match between teams from Agwata Council area, divided into Agwata North and South, was witnessed by many who came to enjoy the thrilling encounter. The NYCN Agwata coordinator, Mr. Maduabuchi Ezekafo, explained that the tournament was to honor and support Governor Chukwuma Soludo for his giant strides in governance, especially with his youth-friendly approach in making youth part of decision-making process with key appointments in his cabinet. Mr. Ezekafo appreciated the Anambra State Governor for living up to his manifesto by providing employment for youth through the One Youth Two Skills initiative and employment of young teachers, pointing that efforts are geared towards making the event an annual one to also provide a platform for youth interaction and discovery of talents.
The governor is the best when it comes to youth empowerment in the history of Anambra State. He is the best when it comes to giving youth critical roles in governance. So today, youth have become leaders of today. Youth are part of decision makers in Anambra because of the Soludo, because of the solution government.
The Transition Committee Chairman of Agwata Council Area, Dr. Chibueze Ofobike, in his remark appreciated the Agwata chapter of NYCN for championing the sports event for the 14 communities in Agwata, making it a platform for engaging the youth positively and discovering talent.
We're really making a whole lot of impact. We've spent several hours here today. Together in sporting activities for several hours. It means that we can actually channel the energy of young people to do something.
The chairman of the event, former Commissioner for Public Utilities, Anambra State, Engineer Emeka Ezenwanne, represented by Mr. Chukwuka Nwankwo, and Anambra State Chairman, National Youth Council of Nigeria, Mr. Emeka Obi, emphasized that the organization encourages such youthful engagement amongst its chapters, appreciating Agwata chapter of the organization for being proactive and the state government for also being supportive to the youth.
I must commend you, my brother. It's indeed a great work. Every youth here that is giving him support as the leader of the youth in Agwata, God bless you, sir. That is the right way to go.
Others who spoke during the event were the state Apga youth leader, Dr. Tochukwu Obiadi, Ekulobia Diocese Catholic Youth Organization, Sion President, Mr. Chinedu Nweke, and the NYCN Agwata Chapter Public Relations Officer, Mr. Kelechi Okpala. The football competition ended 0-0 between the two teams after full time of play and 6-4 after penalty shootouts in favor of Agwata North. There were also tug of war between Man O War Organization and Royal Rangers, wheelchair race for the physically challenged, swimming, volleyball, among others. From Umuchu, it's been Kenechukwu Chukwudi for ABS News.
By liking our Facebook page, follow us at Anambra Broadcasting Service. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on X at ABS Radio TV. And on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now, our major stories again. Anambra State Government has trained its newly appointed permanent secretaries. Governor Soludo administration has restated commitment to stamp out quackery in health sector. Citizens have been warned to approach communication with discernment to avoid risks. And out of foreign scene, we told you that an Australian teen has been jailed for 14 years over UK's women's murder. To end the news, here is a special message again. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the tax ahead. And that's it on the news this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Chidima Orangwa. Good morning.